I want to thank the Almighty God for giving me the grace to finish my Nysc. If you stick with me to the midpoint and end of this video, I placed 2 airtime recharge cards for Airtel and MTN users. You may just be the winner of both airtimes. I decided to create this video to inspire those of you that are yet to go for service. So you may learn a thing from this video and you may also get inspired from it. Let's get right into the video. My NYSC year taught me a lot of things I wouldn't learn sitting in front of my phone or laptop. You know, before I went for my service here, I was always either in front of my phone or my laptop doing 1 or 2 things online. My service here taught me how to coexist better with people, especially people I've never met before. Right from the time I left Lagos to Kwara, I was able to heave a sigh of relief and breathe. Although it took some time for me to adapt to my new environment, I blended and vibed well with the indigenes. The indigenes were friendly and welcoming. I remember one time while walking on the streets of the community, the children and indigenes would call, "My copper, my copper." Sometimes it felt like the whole community was watching my every move. I came to understand that due to the low population in the community, everyone knew each other very well, and they could easily tell if a stranger was among them. I played football with them most times, got a couple of injuries here and there, and I recovered quickly because I get body weight camping. My time spent at Ijara community of Kwara State was totally worth it. Spending time with people I've never met before was somewhat refreshing and gave me new experiences. I was able to experience the way these people live, eat, and interact. The major source of income of most of these indigenes is farming. One of my best experiences while serving in Kwara State was with the kids I taught. Waking up every day to go teach these kids gave me some premium joy. There is no other feeling like impacting the next generation. Teaching younger people can be very fun and stressful too. I can remember one time while teaching the kids how they would disturb my class. I'll caution and sometimes use cane to beat them. These kids can be very stubborn at times, During their break time, I would interview some of them and ask them a couple of questions. Let's get right into the video. Mo fẹ́ interview Damola. Yeah, let me interview. Yeah, camera. Emmanuel, mo fẹ́ interview. What's your opinion? You come to interview. What's your opinion? Emmanuel, sit down.
Excuse me, sir.
Sit down. You want to go down, sir? Yeah, sit down. Emmanuel, sit down. Sit down, baby. Emmanuel, what do you feel like to be a student? So, how old are you, Emmanuel?
I am.
Yeah, let me give you a message.
How is the problem?
How often do you do it?
Well, I'm working on.
You're working on it.
Yes. I'm not
Sure.
yeah.
You're checking your house. Oh, that's good. Your housework. Disturb you. Are you sure?
Yes.
Your knowledge.
Did it Kingdom Primary.
Kingdom Access.
Uncle, I would like. Don't be trying to use that.
October.
Anika.
It's October.
October too.
Your dad is surprised.
No.
Your dad.
What famous?
Where are you going? Opa.
I'm going to.
We are going to Kwara. So the questions I asked them were how often they read their books, how well they were preparing for their exams, because this period was close to when they were about to write their junior WAEC. I also asked about how they cope with combining house chores and schoolwork. I also asked a few of them what they intend to study in higher institutions and the profession they would love to take up. Another of my best experience while serving in Kwara State was I had enough time to play football. You know, while I was in Lagos, I didn't really have much time to play ball like that because of how busy I was online, and there was not even the environment to play football. While I was in Kwara, there were lots of fields to play football, and the community was also very, very conducive for playing football. Serving in this community gave me ample time to play my favorite game, football. It also gave me ample time to blend well with the locals. Every 2 to 3 weeks, the community would organize its own 5-a-side competition. Corpers and indigenes would play alongside each other. The competition could sometimes be tough. I could remember one time while we were playing one round in the competition, my team led with a goal. Our opponent scored 2 past us, making it 2-1 at halftime. Few minutes into the second half, we leveled up the scoreline, making it 2-2. We needed to win that match, so we kept pushing for the win. Our opponents pulled one back, making it 3-2. We didn't relent after the score. They kept on attacking and attacking to put the game to bed. But we got them on a counter and leveled up the scoreline, making it 3-3. We scored 2 more goals to secure the win. The match ended in a 5-3 scoreline. Another experience I will never forget while serving in Kwara State was how me and my colleagues would go out to sensitize shops and kiosks in the community. As the president of my CDS group, I will mobilize my colleagues to go out and sensitize the community members on the use of technology in their businesses, right? So our job was to make them know how they can use technology to help improve their business, how they can incorporate the use of technology in their businesses, and also how they can manage their finances better. We would ask these small businesses in the community if they already use technology in their business, like collecting transfers as a means of payment. While others were skeptical about collecting online transfers, others prefer to collect their payments in cash. We would convince them to adopt the use of online transfers as a means of collecting their payment so they wouldn't lose their customers to another trader. Some complained about the challenges of collecting transfers and how the transfers wouldn't reflect after the customer has sent the money. We preferred some realistic solutions like getting a trusted person to collect their money. So give for example, you are a trader and I want to pay you, right? But you don't have the means of collecting transfers. So since you don't have the means of collecting transfers, you can get someone that you trust to help you collect the transfer, right? So you, the trader, is going to get somebody to collect the transfer for you, right? So I'm going to pay to that person that you trust. So the person that collected the money for you is going to collect the money in cash and give it to you. So this was one of the solutions that we preferred to these people in the community. As the president of my CDS group, Financial Inclusion and Digital Literacy, my job was to sensitize the community on how they can incorporate the use of technology in their businesses, right? So since this was a rural setting, we wanted to bring the knowledge of technology to these people, right? And we also wanted to educate them on how well they can manage their finances, right? Some of them, what they usually do after making sales, they don't get to save part of that money, right, and reinvest it back into their business. What some of these people do is the fact that they get the money, they buy goods in their shop. After making sales, they take that money and use it to feed, use it to survive. So we wanted to do what? Our job was to educate them on how they can save part of this money and reinvest it back into their business. So this was one of the many ways we were able to impact the community of Ijara Isin. Out of all my good experiences while serving in the community, one of my very best experiences was having access to a good lodge. Having access to a good lodge was one of the things that encouraged me to stay back at the place. And as a copper, when you are posted to a PPA and your place of primary assignments allocates you to a good lodge, allocates you to a place that is very conducive to stay, you actually be very, very encouraged to stay back at the place. So this was one of the things that encouraged me to remain at my PPA in Kwara State. Initially, I was skeptical about staying back at the place because the environment was more village-like. So it was more of a rural settlement. So what I actually did was I planned to change my PPA to a school in the city, right? So one of the things that encouraged me to stay back at the place was how the environment was. I felt more peace, I felt more calm, and I felt more serenity in the environment. So this was one of the things that encouraged me to stay back at the place. Before I stayed back, I actually had plans to change my PPA to a school in the city, right? So I was working towards it, trying to change my PPA, but eventually, as God will have it, I just decided to stay back at the place. The major things that encouraged me to stay back at the place was the convenience of the lodge, access to clean water, good roads, and good network coverage, right? So due to the things that I do online, I was very, very major on having a good network coverage, because if you don't have a good network coverage and you are a digital person, you do digital stuff, most of what you do is online, one of the things that you want to focus on is having a good network coverage. So when I had all this put in place, I decided to stay back, right? I decided to stay back. So if you are a copper, if you are an Nysc copper, and you are posted to, say, a village, you are posted to a rural settlement, and you don't have all of these, and you are also a digital person, most of what you do is online, you want to ensure that you have a good network coverage. Because if you don't have a good network coverage, how are you going to survive? How are you going to do your digital stuff online, right? So you want to ensure that you have a good network coverage, and you also have a good place to stay. You have access to clean water, and you have good roads too. So if you have all of these things, you can decide to stay back at where you're posted to. So this was one of the things that made me stay back at my PPA. One of my bad experiences while serving was with the network coverage, right? So like I said I had good network coverage, but here's what happened. I used to receive calls from people that were in Lagos. I was getting my calls on my MTN line, right? So my MTN line was what kept me going, right? So how was I able to manage this? How was I able to manage no signal on my Etisalat network? What I did was I made my people know. I made them know that for bank apps, right? So since I couldn't receive SMS alert notifications via messages on my Etisalat line, I was able to access my alert notifications, my bank alert on my bank app. This was possible having a bank app and having MTN network coverage. So thanks to MTN, by the way. Another of my not so good experience while serving was not having enough people to interact with. As we would have it in our lodge, we were only 3 coppers, right? And waking up to see the same set of people every day could be boring, right? So we're not much in our lodge, we're not that much, we're just 1, 2, 3. The only time we had time to talk together, the only time we had time for ample interactions were during our community development service, at work, in church, and during our Sandford parties. This was one of the things I didn't like while I was serving. We're just in that village seeing so many old people, right? So since it is a rural settlement, there are more of old people in that environment than young people. So they send in coppers there to help them, right? To help the education of the community, to help people that actually value education, right? So that place is a rural settlement. It is 100% a rural settlement. So I didn't have much interactions with youths. I didn't have many youths to interact with, any youths to vibe with. This was one of the things I didn't like about my service year. If I were to grade my overall experience during the course of my service year, I would say it was a good one. Going into a strange land, a place I've never been to before, was a way for me to experience life in another dimension and outside my comfort zone. Going to an unknown land where I had no family member or relative was a way for me to build myself as a man and develop an independent mindset. Now, if you've ever been in the situation whereby you go to a particular location where you know no one, you have no family member, no relative, I'm sure you can very, very much relate, because when you are in such a position, you have to fend for yourself in every area of your life. You have to fend for yourself, right? So if you've ever been in that position before, I'm definitely sure that you can relate. Generally speaking, I believe that as youths, we should try as much as possible to change our environment. Change your environment and go live in an environment you've never lived in before. Your mind will be more open, and this can affect you positively in other aspects of your life. So if you're a kind of person that doesn't travel a lot, you can decide to travel. When you travel, you'll be more open-minded, right? So you see life in another dimension, you see life in another view, different from the way you see life when you were still at home or in your comfort zone. So travel more and you're going to see life in other aspects, and this can impact you very, very positively in other aspects of your life. When you change your environment, your mind could be open to opportunities in that environment. Even when you stay in a particular location for too long, you may consider traveling and experiencing a new environment. Like I mentioned earlier in this video, I had both good and bad experiences during the course of my service here. Of course, all my experiences can be good, right? But if I'm going to rate my overall experience during the course of my service here, I'll rate it as a good one. Serving as the president of my CDS group helped me to build capacity in terms of working together with people, handling them, working together on projects, and completing them. Handling people online is totally different from handling people in real life, right? So you face more challenges when you handle people offline, right? So if I'm going to rate my overall experience during the course of my service year, I'm going to rate it overall 70%. I think that's a good score, and I hope you are going to have a good experience when you serve. So if you have actually served, if you have actually done your NYSC and you had a good experience while serving, let me know in the comment section below, right? Let me know if you had a good experience while serving during your service year, and give it a rate. It could be 50, 60, 70, whatever it is. Let me know in the comment section. Now, this is some advice for those of you that are yet to go for your NYSC. So before I went for service, I did some research about where I was posted to, right? So I was actually very curious to know the place, to get more information about the place. So what I did was, after getting my posting letter, I went on YouTube and watched some videos about the orientation camp. I also did some research about the state I was posted to. I read a few blogs about the place, and I read things that other Corp members, previous Corp members that have served in that state, I read their reviews. I read, what they experienced serving in that state and also in the orientation camp. Doing these little findings about my NYSC camp prepared me for what to expect. I was really curious to know how camp life was, right? So if you are actually posted to a place initially, you have this curiosity. You want to know how it is. You want to know how the environment is. You're very curious to know what people have experienced in that place. So I encourage you, if you are here to serve or if you want to be posted to a particular place, I advise you to do your own research, about the place. It will help you prepare better for what to expect. If you've never attended Nysc camp before, I want you to know that Nysc camp is both fun and stressful. There are a lot of activities that will keep you very, very engaged. Right, so during my own Nysc orientation camp, we had a lot of fun activities and very, very stressful activities. Our platoon officers and soldiers that were responsible for taking responsibility over us, that were responsible for handling every corp member on the camp, ensured that everybody was where they were supposed to be. So if we were having like maybe a meeting or a march past or an event in the hall, they ensured that every corp member was available. Right, so they didn't like corp members moving around the camp. They wanted everybody to be at the exact location where we're supposed to have our events, our programs. And this could be very, very stressful at times. So, as a corporal, you want to ensure that you abide to their rules. You want to ensure that you follow the rules that were set in camp. If you want to get the full story of my Nysc camp, how I experienced my Nysc orientation camp, go to my Twitter page at @SirGeorgeO and read the full story there. I can bet you I calmed down to write that story and you're going to enjoy it. So go to my Twitter page at @SirGeorgeO and read the full story of my Nysc orientation camp. Now that I'm done with service, I plan to serve you guys better with quality videos on digital productivity. Been a while I created videos on digital productivity, right? So it's not easy combining Nysc service and online work together. So now that I'm actually done with service, I have more time, I have more space to create videos for you. Videos that will help you to be much more productive with your smartphone, videos that will help you to be much more productive with your PC, and videos that will help you make money online. So if you've been making money online before, my videos will help you make more money. So stay tuned to this channel as I bring you more videos on digital productivity. Also, expect video content on artificial intelligence, AI, and how you can be much more productive and profitable with AI. Apart from creating videos on digital productivity, I can also decide to tell stories on my channel. The final goal is to educate and entertain you guys and also bring to your screens much more positive energy. If these are the kinds of content you love to see on my channel, consider subscribing. You can also share my channel to your friends, share with your family, share with your relatives. If you got value from this video, you can also decide to share this video with your friends and family. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope you're the winner of the airtime I drop. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.